Hi, welcome to our STI core values training. So before we get started, if you get a pen and a piece of paper, or you have a book that's designated for your training, it would be good to start in there. We're going to share a little exercise with you as we go through this training. And then also welcome to STI, and it's great to see that you're partnering with us on your journey. So let's get started. So my name is William McLeod. I'm the co-founder of STI Unleashed. I'm an Emerald Director in USANA, Premium Platinum Pace Setter, international speaker, entrepreneur, and mindset coach. So I'm going to be involved in a lot of your training online as well as personal as you go through your journey. All right, so the topics we're going to cover today is our 4 values of our culture, which is integrity, loyalty, humility, and excellence. So these values are actually going to play out in your life as well as your business. So if you look at these values today, is how can you use these and make them present in could be your marriage, relationships, business, whatever it is you're up to in life. These 4 values will take you to the next level faster. Right. So value number 1 is integrity. So integrity is doing what you know to do, the way it is designed to be done, keeping your word and honoring your promises. So Zig Ziglar says, with integrity, you have nothing to fear because you have nothing to hide. With integrity, you will do the right thing, so you have no guilt. So as we unpack this, you're going to understand this a bit more deeper, right? So if you go through life and you feel that you have a loss of power in certain areas, we're going to show you how you can instantly get your power back. So the qualities of integrity was honesty, strong ethical principles, honor, trustworthiness, openness, transparency, and hiding nothing. Right? So these qualities form the foundation of a person's character. So step number 1, right? If you have a loss of power in your life, right? What we want to do is write a list of areas of your life where you experience a loss of power. So promises and agreements that I have not kept with self or other people, undelivered communications, breakdowns, failures we have hidden. Now, the reason why we say this is we want to tell the truth on ourselves, right? The more honest and the more authentic we get, the more we can then reinstore our power. And this is where I went through my life so many times hiding things because I didn't, people might judge me. And when I done this exercise, it's amazing. My power went through the roof, and so did my results with it. So here's some examples, right? You have committed to start exercising 3 times a week, but you didn't do it, right? So that's a commitment, obviously, with yourself, right? So that means you would start maybe losing your power, maybe beating yourself up a little bit, maybe getting a bit discouraged, right? You said that you would start a new diet, never began. You said you would call someone and you didn't do it. You had an argument with someone and you never kind of cleaned it up and kind of left it a little bit kind of weird. You owe someone money and you've not paid them yet. You arranged to meet someone and you didn't show up. Sometimes we can get embarrassed or feeling shame. So what we do is then we start to lose our power, right? So the next part is step 2. So acknowledge and be honest with yourself about each area on your list, right? First, recognize that you're out of integrity. This is the first steps to restoring it, right? And then you can create a plan to bring integrity to each area. So see, why is this important? When you reinstore the integrity, your energy will go through the roof. And that's why a lot of times we can go through life and we feel depressed. And when I get taught this, it's just a game changer. So if you ever feel your energy's out, where's my integrity? And then as soon as you acknowledge it and then take action in that area, your energy just goes a way up. Okay, so integrity gives you pride, core confidence, and empowered by your word. You are who you say you are. You do what you say you will do. So free to be fully present in the moment, no past or future distractions. Because when you say, this is who I am, right? And this is what I will do. And then you do that, it builds trust for yourself, and also other people will trust you as well. See, so obviously we're building a business, right? And obviously you're living in a family. So we have a Usana family, and you also have a family at home. So as a community or tribe, right? Integrity is being undivided, unity, wholeness, togetherness, solidarity, one body acting according to understanding that principle. So it's a foundation of a solid, sustainable community. So whether it's a business that you're building, or whether it's a sports club you're involved with, or whether it's your family at home, being united and together just takes that whole environment to the next level, because you're creating a culture, right? So if you're unable to do something you said you would do, right? Oh, sorry, let me say that again. If you're unable to do something you said you would do, be in communication with the person. Recommit, and your power will be restored. Being out of integrity impacts trust in self and others, affects relationships, and leads to a loss of confidence. For example, unless you restore integrity in a relationship, the relationship will have problems. It will feel inauthentic, and this leads to strategy. It's like having an invisible wall where you've got a relationship with somebody and it's just not as connected as it used to be. Maybe you had a few disagreements, you never restored it. So then it's like it can become a little bit awkward. It could be your marriage, it could be with a friend, it could be. So the key is, once you bring it back to reinstalling the integrity and get complete, there should be nothing between you and that other person. Then you're back to connected again. And that's not easy, because as human beings, we're usually a little bit inauthentic, where we just put it under the rug. It's okay. And then we don't bring honor to each other. So this is why when you bring integrity back to the relationship, it just, you end up with amazing, like, close relationships. So restoring the integrity with people and being known as someone who is their word makes you trustworthy, and it creates, like, more connection in your relationships. So having standards of excellence in every area of your life, for example, personal development, health, fitness, relationships, business, finances, spiritual self-awareness, is the foundation for a great life. So that's why these values are a priority. In a community, it creates a culture of everyone as being that way. So closing the gap and becoming better at restoring integrity and bringing congruence, there's always a gap, right? So we have to keep working on closing it. So for instance, you says, I want to go to the gym, but you're not doing it. Then that creates incongruency, right? So you'll lose your energy. So what happens is, if you start closing the gap and get better at going to the gym, once you have congruency, the result will be fast. So when we mean gap, it's just what we're saying and what we're doing is two different things. So then, and when we bring integrity to what we said we wanted, our energy will increase, and so will the result. So the next value we're going to look at now is loyalty. Loyalty is so important, right? You're going to build a business, you're going to have a marriage, you're going to have great relationships, having each other's back, right? So STI Unleashed is not a corporation built on self-interest, politics, or personal agendas. It's a tribe built on bonds of love, support, empowerment of each member of the tribe. So we stick together and have each other's backs through good times and bad. We win and celebrate together, or we fail together, we laugh and cry together. So loyalty means you have honor and respect for each other no matter what. You don't have to agree with everything that your team member says or your family member says, right? they do, but you must value their viewpoint as it could be your blind spot and allow their contribution. So what does that mean? So how many times have you been in a situation where somebody's telling you something, but because you can't see it, you can get defensive? So one of the things we teach is if they're giving you feedback, maybe it's a blind spot and you can't see it. The key is stay open longer and let them contribute, because if you let them contribute, then and trust that they've got your back, then you'll learn more and then you'll have more of a respectful relationship, right? So it's not about who is right, but it's what is right, and searching for the truth together. So which means instead of going I versus I, where you get two people kind of in competition with each other, what we do is you got two people in the same team trying to figure out the truth together, not being positional with no, I'm right, no, I'm right. And then you end up in this competition and ego, right? So the goal is long-lasting personal relationships built on trust, runs deeper than just the products and services. So we're in an environment where everybody's growing together and giving each other feedback and supporting each other. So it's not about selling product, even though that's part of what we do. It's about building an amazing culture and family where when you invite people into the tribe, that they feel respected and honored, and then that builds your business as we go forward. So the other thing is no gossip, right? So why is that important, right? So don't say anything that's not yours to be said. It's a betrayal of trust and it dishonors you and the other person. If someone is gossiping, don't entertain it. This keeps everyone respectful and doesn't damage relationships with people. If you find yourself in a situation where there is gossip, talk to your sponsor who's already been trained to deal with it. And whether that's at home as well, in the family unit, gossip usually makes people feel like betrayed, and then you kind of disconnect, and then you don't have each other's back. So the key is society is built up with gossip. But if you want to grow your business to a high standard and have great relationships, then the key is don't entertain gossip. And we're all guilty of that. It just doesn't bring great relationships. So feedback is the breakfast of champions, right? So loyalty is having each other's back and welcoming feedback, but not taking it personal. People give feedback because they care and are committed to your growth, or to our growth. If they don't care, then they won't say anything. So that's why the people closest is usually gives the feedback, because they care. But sometimes if we resist it or we don't listen, then maybe sometimes that can create maybe resentment because they don't feel that you trust. So the key is trust the feedback and then take it on board and use the bits that you feel good. And if it doesn't, then you don't need to take it on board, but just respect that people are giving you feedback so you can grow. So the next value we're going to look at is humility. So humility is massive, massive growth. And when we're younger, sometimes our humility is not that high, especially for me. When I was younger, I was like fighting and arguing because my ego was quite big, right? So let's have a little bit of what humility means, right? So humility is the ultimate characteristic of leadership. And it means being guided by love, service, and dedication to a cause that is greater than you as an individual. It doesn't mean thinking less of yourself. It means thinking of yourself less. Our ego is the enemy, not each other. Humility means always bringing an empty cup attitude with you in life. We can learn from anyone in any situation if we're open that they can know something that we don't. So knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom, right? So the more you know, the less you grow. So wisdom is the attitude of wonder and openness that comes from knowing that you don't know. So let's have a wee look at this. Right. So the word I know, right? So that we're going to unpack that, right? Because we go through life and somebody says something, right, and we know. So let's have a look at this, right? So the word I know, the ego, right, is I know. It could be arrogant, inability to listen, right? The ego, right? So the ego says, I know this already. So somebody says something, you go, oh, I already know that, right? It stops you from asking questions. It keeps you from growing and can lead to defensive behavior. Because if you think you already know, you won't be curious. You'll just be defensive and then fight with your opinion. So the key is, it doesn't mean that you just trust what everybody says, but staying open-minded and curious really makes a big difference. So when we think we know what people are saying, but we are not listening to each other, we can damage your relationships, right? So this leads to disrespect. And what follows is if your relationship starts to become disrespectful, the love starts to die. So that's whether it's a marriage or whatever, we have to respect the other person's viewpoint. It doesn't mean to say we need to agree with it, but we need to respect it because it's the way they see it. That gives you quality relationships. Family members, business partners, as you go through the world, you end up like humility is the access. So let's have a look at the next part. So if you take away the word I know and you take it away from your psychology and the way you go through life, and you just be patient and stay a little open longer, right? So I know, so humility, curiosity, and listening, right? So humility keeps you grounded, right, and seeing good in everything and everyone. Humility is the access to fast exponential growth. So if you stay open and humble and respectful, you allow more. People will feel your humility, and you'll build better relationships, and then like drama and different things, it all disappears because you're open, right? So the next part is allowing contribution from others who have done what you're attempting to do can save you so much time and effort. So for instance, you're talking to somebody, right? And they've done, so say for instance, you've done 50 hours on a topic and somebody else has done like 5,000 hours on the topic. Now, one person's maybe opinionated, the person who's done maybe 50 hours, but somebody who's done 5,000 hours, they've got a lot more depth of knowledge. So sometimes when we listen to people, we have to look at them. Has this person done more time and research in this subject, or have I? And if you've done less and they've done more, then it would be a lot smarter to go, well, all right, I'll just ask more questions and get that information for free, right? Because the other person's going to share their wisdom with you, and then you get to learn faster. But if you've got 50 hours and they've got 5,000, and then you get defensive or you argue or then what happens is you're slowing your growth, and you're slowing from that person giving you contribution. So the key is, in our culture, the key is to stay open, be curious, ask questions, and then what happens is you'll learn faster, which will speed up your results. Right. So the next value and the final value is excellence. Now, excellence is so important, right? Because it's all about some standards, right? So excellence, do the best you can. The quality of being outstanding or extremely good. It's not a moral concept, good or bad, right? Doing the best you're capable of in a given situation based on your current level of awareness and skill. Right. So we're going to now have a look at the difference between excellence and perfection. Now, a lot of us are perfectionists, so we tend to maybe get stuck in analyzing and things like that. So what we want to do is separate the two of them. All right. So perfection is an impossible standard people set for themselves and others that is unattainable. Humans are not perfect, and life will never be that way. Right? This can be very intense when we're being perfectionists. So let's have a look at this. All right. So excellence is constantly striving to do things the best of one's ability, and always looking for the next level. So you're just looking to keep improving all the time, right? All right. So perfection leads to stress, right? It's never good enough, right? Drama, negativity, apathy, right? Frustration, judging self, well, never good enough, judging others, like being very critical. But yeah, this is never good enough, right? Procrastination, perfectionists don't sometimes take action because it's no perfect, and I need to learn this, I need to do this. So perfection can really hold people back, and then it creates a lack of confidence. So then I can't move until it's right. I can't do this until this is right. I can't do this until I learn this, and then we end up stagnant. So what we do from an excellence point of view is understanding that it takes time, right? Staying consistent, achievement, accomplishment, stretching, right? So every week you're stretching, you're getting better, right? You have to be patient with yourself, right? Striving to improve, right? Learning, growing, evolving, like accepting making mistakes as part of the process. And then it creates continued development. We know that it takes time, but it's as long as we're improving each week, right? And go to the next level, that's success. See, some people go, oh, once I arrive, then I'm successful. No. Success is a journey, and it comes from keep increasing your skill level, keep becoming more mindful of your mindset, of what's in your heart, all right, I'm being a perfectionist. All right, I'm going to be very critical and judgmental of myself and others. Now, think about this. If you're very critical of yourself and you beat yourself up or you're hard on yourself, you'll tend to be hard on other people, especially the people you love and the people you're closest to. So when you learn to become more peaceful and loving for yourself, right, you can then give that away. But if you're not peaceful and loving with yourself, you can't give away something that you don't have. All right. So it's so important that we become more self-aware, and that's why these 4 values are so important. And now, obviously, I've given you quite a bit of information, so you can go through this at any time. You can read it part by part, go through it in each section, and these values, if you implement these into different areas of your life, right, like these next areas, so having standards in all areas of your life will take you to the next level faster, right? So how could you bring these 4 values and implement them in your relationships? How about your communication and the way you communicate with others? What about your health, your fitness, your business, your finances, your spirituality, right? Your career, your hobbies. So these 4 values implemented and repeated in standards in each area of your life will just accelerate your results. So wherever you are in your life right now is fine. We are in a personal development program. So as you go through the next few videos and you keep going through it, each one of them will lay a foundation for your success, right? So the key is just make sure that you turn up and be consistent and complete each video, whether it's 1 a day or you can do 3 a day. Do your best to knock them off so you can get a really good foundation, and then work with the person who invited you into the program, and then you're going to get a lot of support and training. So the great thing I love about this is you're not alone, right? So loyalty is very important to us. So we don't take that lightly that you've joined our team. So just remember, we've got your back, and we say loyalty, we mean loyalty. So it's not coming from our mouth. It actually comes from who we are as a tribe. Right. So we'll just finish off. So it's like, live your best life, and welcome to STI Unleashed family. All right. So if you want to connect with me, right, you can connect me on Facebook, or you can connect with me on Instagram. And I look forward to talking to you and catching up with you in face-to-face, and also in the next meeting and the next trainings. So enjoy the rest of your journey, and I'll see you soon. Bye.